Hello and welcome to the Crypto Day Morning. And today's date that comes in on that of Monday, 25th of February 2019. My name is Derek, all bets trades, and of which the like, well, that is within one's own risk and their own reward. Within the first chart shown, that being Komodo, we're looking at the Bittrex. And when you look at these candles, the painting of it you might call sloppy. But when you see it, that just means the volatility is a little bit thin. And the key word is just a little bit, because trading this within orders and having your sell orders and all of these levels below where the highs are and buy orders above where all the lows are, they're going to hit. I just recently bought, well, I woke up and seen I bought hair above 24,000 on Bittrex. And now I'm waiting to sell it if it goes up into, well, this lower high area, because I sell it short term, long term, volatility collectively. When we look at this coin on Binance, and we'll look at this on multiple time frames, so let's put the Binance picture on now. And a nice better paint job, I guess you could say. That's where the highs, if you look at where the closes are on each one, the highs and or the close and the lows pretty much match up most times. Here it didn't though, but we have a high of, or a close of 25.68 and an open of 25.71. What that means is the moment this trade was done, well, the last trade was 25.61. That means the next one after that, someone took the ask number on the 71 and they took it. So when this one completed at 26.19, the open was 26.19. This one completed at 25.94. The next one opened at 25.94. That's normal when you got very good high volatile or good liquidity within the markets. Now within runs like this, I liked all of this up and down choppy action. When you can go from 23 change up to 27, now down to 24, gives great opportunities for trading along the way. We look at this on multiple time frames, 4 hour, how we have all of these up and down comeback moves. What I'm looking for if I'm going to be having a bull market, which of course is ultimately what's that I'm looking for. Levels of resistance in here, a little huge, I would have to say, between that of around 22.5 handle up to about 24.89, maybe we'll say 25. And since it has last reached broken above where the red line is our current price, that was on February the 17th, a week and a day has gone by. And it's congesting and supporting that level. That's a very good, strong sign as I'm looking at it. Yes, if there's going to be further down move, where do we go? Well, we got this previous resistance combined with the support. They're 61.8% down from here to here. Next coin. It's in that of Bitcoin. Let's take a look at this and appears above. And it could still hit. I mean, it's not doing much. But these fast moves, they happen. After this big, last time it had a big red down period was in here. It had two pauses, then it congested, then a little grinding its way down to another leg lower. There's only been one period so far, which is today, and if price action is unable to get above, say, 38, 33, if it's unable to go below about 36.75, it's a pause day. And it most likely will be. And then within a pause day, it's just wait and have this thing settle in. As this one here settled in on a pause moment, had its up run, and then it pretty much immediately resisted an area it was supposed to resist at a large level, and quickly coming back to where you would expect the next intended target to go, at least on a more intermediate term. Because short term, when you hit this resistance, this is the spot that you were looking to find and try to see where a level of support would be found, which obviously we can see didn't really find it. And when you don't find supported areas where you're supposed to, usually a fast move to the next level. And no exceptions amongst this. If we look at this, say, on the 5 minute and scroll back, let's just do it this way. No need for me to go to the 1. We can see that it was not even really any at all at this 39.5 mark. maybe for a couple of minutes, maybe for a couple of seconds or 20 seconds. Regardless, these moves can happen fast. This is a case of the big money players just pushing a lot of sell buttons or selling a lot of Bitcoin, having to do so on multiple exchanges. Obviously, that's always the way it's going to work out, and a lot of followers coming in. People see what's happening. As this was going on, it was breaking down below at say 8:55. You're like 9:05. Hey, wait a second here. This thing has just fell from 4,100 low, and now it's 4,000 low. We've just lost 2.5% and over a cup of coffee. And then as this is going down over these many hundreds of seconds, people are noticing this and reacting to the situation. Stops get triggered. So many different things get activated that, well, this is just the way that the normal movements come into play. So since then, it's just chopped around, creating a sideways movement. Well, let's take a look at this again on I'll say an hourly time frame. We can see support has been established a hair above the 3,700 and at 37.20. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back down here and still pierces below, and we do actually technically hit this level, but resistance has been established, and if it manages to get above it, then we're going to be talking about filling a lot of this empty space. And if you're trying to get a bull market reenacted, then all of the 18 average as it would newly be rising is a big area for support. This in here, because it could take a lot of work to regain after moves like this occur. But generally speaking, as I've been saying and expect it to continue, whenever a market has a big move, it's going to be that quickly up, quickly down. And more times than not, after it's done, it's going to find a sideways consolidation of some sort after it is completed. And so far, it's doing just that. Let's move on next to AidCoin, which means I'm looking at this now at 1144. It's a lot lower than where it was before I was making this video. So I know that a buy order for myself has just been activated. 5-minute time frame. Yep, there we go. It's just going down after it went up, and even went up here at like before. I went to bed really early last night, so I was already in bed before this was going on at well, at 22:50 anyway. And it goes up, so I woke up and I seen sell order, sell order. Okay, nice. 2 sell orders fill for me. And well, I've now just got my first buy order back, and I probably would have bought it back at around where was I was in here, so I would have put my order down to about here. So about 1,200. I'm going to probably put another order in for about 1,000 next. I've increased my volatility for this, and this is a coin, AidCoin, to basically do what its name is, to help in aid as a donation type of coin. So it's got possibly got a lot of good. It's a good case coin, not just a use case, but it's got for the good uses, if you will. We'll see how well this coin goes, but on the daily term time frame, these types of moves, I mean, how do I not trade this? And again, when I'm thinking, do I put extra volatility in this? And I'm looking back at all of these previous moves. Yeah, so I pretty much doubled my stake holding. So I play this has to be worth so many BTC. So the X is a good way of calling it. It has to be worth X amount of BTC. I remember having to draw X's like this in grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, grade 13, college year 1, college year 2. This is how math X's were drawn, which is some sort of number that's defined, and it can be, well, it's a number. So therefore, when markets go up, if I notice that this X number is larger, I'm going to sell the amount that is required to bring it to this level. Same thing on the downside, it's going to be worth less. I'm going to make the buy. So therefore, this used to be worth X back in here. Now it is worth 2X since I've doubled my holdings. And I'm because of that, and I have more ownership of it, I'm trading for even shorter term moves if they were available, because again, I had 2 sell orders fill up top, and even back in here over the last few days while I was trading on a 2X level, I've had a decent amount of buys and sells back and forth, and the more volatility that I can get and the more trades that I can get, the better. Now on to theta. And to say it made a statement today would be an understatement. Saying that word twice again. As this level of key Fibonacci, which represents the 61.8% level from this low to this high, it also represents the 38.2% level from this high to this low. Meaning, on a logarithmic level, it doesn't look too logarithmic to me, but the 61.8% on an exponential level from here to here is this number. So therefore, as it is playing out, not resisting it, this is one of the more, it's a bullish, it's definitely a little rare, but Fibonacci doing what it's doing. Because what I say here, if you don't find resistance at an area where you're supposed to, you usually, not this time, you usually have a fast move to the next level. Now, the only other option is you find support at it, or you have a slow move to the next level. And most times they usually have to coincide with each other. So that's exactly what it's done, is supporting this mark. Meanwhile, as it was doing that, it came up and made this high at 2,685 on February the 10th. It pierced above it on February the 14th, and then it pierced below the original one on February 20th, putting a range of resistance up to 25.83 to current price at 27 and a third. It has marginally got above that level. It's had a good break outside of it. Well, it looks to me that this thing might be ready and poised to make a move up to this previous high near 36. And what it does from that point, well, it should be resistance. And to me, that just means greater than 50% and probably even greater than 62 to 65%. Even 70, 75% probably. But in the 75% that it's resistance, when you look at this from a trading perspective, it's a parlay. And I might be losing on my last one. And I'll explain the parlay, then I'll explain why I'm probably going to be losing. Or I could be losing. And overall, when I say I'm losing, I'm still winning, by the way. But with that being said, let's just assume you're saying, okay, I'm going to predict resistance around 35. Which means you're going to put your money where your mouth is and you sell here. You sell whatever. But the parlay means is that you're either going to be able to buy back at a cheaper price, or you're going to use what you sell it for in a positive expectation moving forward, because you could sell at 34.50, turn this into something else, buy something else, and if that outperforms theta the rest of the way, well, technically that's a good play. However you want to play it on that set. So that is the parlay bet. We'll just talk about the buybacks for this example. If, say, for example, okay, I'm going to sell at 30.49 and I want to buy back where it came from at 26. Oh, okay, great. But if it just pulls back to 31, or if it just stays doing what it's doing here, like supporting and congesting within that area, you're not going to get your buyback. And for myself, I've been selling all the way up here. Well, since I last sold up here, my highest buy order was lower than this low. This low is 2,200. My highest one was 21 and change. So that's where I was right in this area being resistance. Only difference was I was wrong with where it was, because it wasn't 23.11. It was actually 25 or 26. So it actually resisted its area, or it congested in its area. It stopped going up. It didn't go up too much. And overall, like I stated, it ended up supporting it. Furthermore, at this 27.50 mark, and now I'm even going to say, yeah, 26.49. It is a lot more overextended when it was up here than it is now, because it was going straight up. When you're way up, you're in need of some sort of correction. Well, this is at some sort of correction. And for this to be in need of some sort of correction, well, now it's got to have a very good break. And I mean a really good break above 3,000, because 3,000 here isn't that large of a leg higher from where the green line currently is played, or its previous level of resistance. And let's move on next to No Limit Coin numero deuce number 2. And I must say, I got to find a way to increase my stakes on this. I still don't know how much I'm going to be selling on the intermediate term. Well, no, I don't, but I'll figure it out. Intermediate term sell next is previous high, around 400. Long term sell about 1,000. and I'm short-term selling this all the time. And I've been increasing those stakes. Not really because I've been making a few trades, but because No Limit Coin is a case use coin. The previous night, I won several thousand of these coins playing fantasy basketball. And I won another few thousand, or a couple plus thousand yesterday. In a game which to me has a very, very high return on investment. Much higher than any casinos, percentage-wise only, could ever dream about getting. I'm getting ROI percentage I think the provincial and state lotteries get. 30+%. Why is that? Two reasons. One, because I'm good at the game. I know how to play fantasy sports. I don't like having to do it, and I actually been trying to pay somebody who is very damn good at it, to basically tell me what the playbook is for the day. I've reached out to two people. Both participants didn't really want to make the trade. I gave a good offer actually, trading 5,000 of these coins for a few months, 3 months worth of daily emails. Just the quick basics. Who is the good plays? Who are the strong ones? Who are the don't touches? If you're spending hours researching it, I'll spend several thousand of these. To do it, then we'll talk later. Maybe the offer was too cheap, but I really couldn't go any more. But the way I'm thinking about it is, man, I'm really good at it. As far as picking players, and to do so, we're talking about their fantasy site, as this is cryptofantasysports.com. And this is why the ROI is so extreme. There were 52 of 100 people in last night's game that played for 100 coins, which meant 5,200 coins were entered and 9,500 were paid back. This was just large. Normally this can get to 60 to 70, and even then it is extremely profitable. Now, I myself am a gold and Bitcoin, or excuse me, a silver and Bitcoin fan, although I'm a fan of gold as well. I finished in 7th place, 8th place, 10th place. I finished in 25th place, top 25 pay. And I had one poor performance at 40th place. I also played a higher stake game. I only usually play one of these lineups, but I'm really considering playing 2 or 3. I probably will play 2 of these today. I finished in 5th place. I only played one lineup. So in here, 5th place would pay 1,662. I finished 2nd place, I think, in this just the day before. So, you know what? Not bad. That's return on investment on the games. When I make deposits to that site, it probably takes about 4 minutes on average from the time when you push your confirm button, or the second, or whether you push your email on exchange, push the confirm button on a regular wallet. That's how quick it is. As far as withdrawals are concerned, well, for me, the first one took a little while, maybe about a half a day. But they do them manually, but oh my goodness, they're fast. Because 2 nights ago, when I had my big cash, okay, let's withdraw some. And literally about 15 minutes later, they're in my hardware wallet. Ooh. Why? Because that was like my 3rd or 4th withdrawal. So they know without they even know where the money goes. They know if it's going to Bittrex, or if it's going to this exchange or that exchange or this type of wallet. And once, of course, they just verify to make sure that it's all legit. And to me, they're just really good at it. We take a look at this overall on a chart analysis level because of its movements, because I like its output, and because it's in the types of things that I like. Gambling, which in this case is fantasy sports and poker, 2 things I've been highly involved with, not only my entire life, but even going back mainly to 2006, I think. Yeah, even late 2005 as I was learning poker at an extreme level. But even back as I was growing up, I was doing fantasy hockey in the 1990s. Even late 1980s, I was doing fantasy hockey. I was playing poker back in the late 1980s and into all of those times. It's always been a part of who I am. So to think that I got, or to say that I got a big affiliation because of what they do, I like the commitment. I've even had the founder come and thank me before for just putting out these videos. And for that, you're very welcome. And I'll continue to do so because I'm really enthusiastic about how this project is going. Now, if you think of it from my perspective, I'm kind of dumb to promote the fantasy sports site because of the amazing overlay. The more people that play, the less it is. Because if there was 68 people compared to 52, it's not as good for me, but it's still good. If there's 85, it's not that. It's barely an overlay. It's barely a profit. And if it fills up 100 out of 100 people, huh? Then it's 5% rake, which is much lower than their competition, the DraftKings, the FanDuels, where they're going like 20-25% rake just out insane levels. So that is why I'm a really big fan of that point. But I also realize too that people are going to be coming into this site. At least I'm pretty confident that in time that's going to be the case. And the more people that come in means the price of these coins are going to go higher, which is what I want. It also means that the games would probably go up because, as you've seen, there was 52 of 100. What happens if that thing fills up with, like, say, at 20 minutes before, say it cuts off at 7 o'clock New York time for fantasy basketball or soon baseball, and then at 6:45 or 6:40 all the games are filled and people can't play that want to come in for the last few minutes? Well, then they might increase the numbers if they see demand going higher, which to me is something I would be really liking to see moving forward. And of course, I like to help anybody else who's like, yeah, I think I can win in the basketball game, and it's ways of making profit. So within these short-term moves in here, you get the buybacks. I mean, these are just incredible to be able to do such. And I've been doing this. I've been buying down here, selling up here. I last sold up here. I got buy orders ready to go at. I think my lowest buy order right now is here, and I got them all the way down. And I got sell orders, probably around here, all the way up. And what I was doing before in the very short moves, I started off when I'm playing short term, selling like I think it was 400 of these things at a time. And what I would do, I would sell 400, maybe a 7% move. I would buy back like 426 and buy the decimals, 0.125 or whatever. Because what I would do is when the trade comes in, I would copy the amount of Bitcoin I received, enter the price I want to buy it in, paste that amount in the amount buy for Bitcoin, and then the number would just automatically pop up like this, say 426 plus 8 decimals, and that's what I would buy. So it's technically, I would be buying, in this case, like 26 and change for profit. Or I get 26 and change profit. But then a few days ago, I increased this number, I think, to 425, then 450. Now it's up to 500, as I did that a couple days ago, or at least yesterday after the win. Now I'm thinking about bringing this up to 550. Because the larger my volatile numbers are, the better it is. Furthermore on this coin, even though I'm showing these types of movements in here that indicate that there's low volatility, the one thing this has, which is phenomenal, is big game players that are involved in the market pretty much doing what I'm doing, making a good 4-5%, and I really like the fact that they're doing it. And what they're doing is they're placing a lot of orders available for buy or sell. So right now, let's just assume the ask price is 313. If you look at the order book, there's always going to be a decent amount of Bitcoin up for the next 15 points. So if you wanted to buy many $100s worth, you're barely going to move the market up at all. If you buy a few $1,000s worth, maybe depending on the situation, you might not move it much. But if you were to buy it, say, I'm going to check right now. If you were to buy it to, say, 332, how much would it cost? Well, in viewing the orders, 332. Well, in reviewing the orders, 332, that's 1.6 Bitcoin. So several thousands of dollars. We see here at 322, there's a decent sized sell order for 73,000 of them. We got 50,000 here, 75,000 here, 77,000 here. Now I only got and this dot represents that's me. There's 500 of those 77,620 are mine, and 500 of these 333 are also mine as well. but good numbers. And as far as the buys are concerned, right off the bat at the 312, 20,000, and then below that, they just good numbers. 1.3 Bitcoin down to 307. So if you want a bunch to sell, you're not going to move the market too much. And one thing that sucks when you own a lot of a coin that's not too liquid is if you want to sell a lot or buy a lot at one time, you have to move the market a lot. And that sucks. That really does suck. Because if you sell, you're not getting as much as of a value. And if you buy all the way up, and if this wasn't too liquid, you might buy this up to 410, and then you just know it's going to go back down. And then continuing even further lower, there's some more orders in here. So I got buy order in at 301. I got a buy order in at 294 all the way lower. And same thing here. So 333, 3041. If the 326 fills, what am I going to do? I'm going to probably put a buy order probably around 308. I'd probably put it, if it was right, I would put it 308 here. This is a good spot to put an order in above this big 307. If the 301 gets filled, then I'll probably put a sell order somewhere around 319 area and just keep on moving forward. In conclusion, my trading strategy is in the more information box. I still got the final part to make, and this is the only slide I got, which is 37 Jet Right Omaha 18 Notebook, which is just whatever words. It's just trying to be a football coach. I'm going to be talking next about the playbook for short term, intermediate term, and long term trading a code. Because if you got a lot of it, and you want to get those long-term moves, but you can hit those short-term plays while you're at it as well. So I'm going to go over that, and I'd like to do it today or tomorrow. If you have any questions further from those series that you'd want to have answered, this is the perfect time to ask them, and I can address them in the final part of the video. But the links for the first 7 parts are in the more information box if you haven't seen it yet and you're interested, because it's very good information that can really help people do very well in the trading. That to me is not that difficult once you understand how the playbook works. Take care.